I am Marie of Historical Belle and welcome back to my sewing room. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made my Miss Victory costume based on Molly, the American Girl doll. I'm very excited to show you this and to be very close to completing my Molly project. It has been a years-long endeavor that I have been undertaking to recreate all of Molly McIntire's outfits, or at least the 6 that appear on the 6-book set, because I am a believer that American Girl dolls should have 6 books. I don't like this 2-book situation where they basically put the first 3 in one and then the second 3 in the other. I understand that it's a cost-saving publishing decision. I don't like it though. I'm not a fan. I also think that the historical characters need more outfits, and outfits that coincide with the book and the stories. That's what makes it important and an impactful historical educational learning tool versus I'm playing dress up with the doll. I do appreciate that they still kind of have a, well, for the most part, pretty decent standard of historical accuracy. I do appreciate that. I was going to say that they are not as good, and that's the thing, is it's not as good as it once was, but it's okay. I digress. Today I'm showing you how I made my Miss Victory outfit based on Molly's tap costume, also called her Miss Victory outfit. And this is from the 6th book in the series, Changes from Molly. It is not originally on the cover. It is in the redo of the cover. This outfit is chosen really after the movie, because in the movie she gets to be Miss Victory. In the book she does not, because she gets sick. I decided to do this dress because I thought it would be more fun than making a rain jacket. I don't ever really envision myself sewing a yellow rain jacket. It's just kind of not something that I want to do. I have thought about making a yellow wool coat. Also in the 1940s version, I have a pattern for that. I've been mulling it over, and if I find the right yellow wool, because I only think I look good in select shades of yellow. Otherwise it matches my complexion too much and it makes me look ill. So if I find it, I might do it. But otherwise, this is my entry for Changes for Molly.
These are basically the last 3 patterns that I'm going to use to make my Molly project come to life. So I'm going to be making this Miss Victory dress, her camp outfit, and then I also want to make her PJs, so bonus PJs. I already have the fabric for it and the pattern. I just need the time to do it. So if you have time, please send it my way. I'm using Vouge Pattern V 2001. It is a reprint pattern from 1941, and I'm making this outfit to go to a 1940s Valentine's Day swing dance with my husband. It's also really close to our anniversary, so it's going to be our anniversary and Valentine's Day trip / outing for this year. I had this red satin already in my stash that I just pulled out. It's actually from my engagement dress that I made to celebrate our engagement. I call it my dearest dress because it goes with our dearest ring. Such a lovely memory, so I'm excited to include some of that memories in this new dress for this new occasion. It was also because I had this scrap of red fabric that I decided to make the bodice red and then the skirt blue, which is a little different than Molly's Miss Victory outfit. Her bodice is blue with some red and silver detailing, and then the skirt is red, blue, and silver. But this skirt is so big, I kind of thought, well, the dominant color in Molly's outfit is blue, and the dominant color of my outfit is going to be blue with this skirt, and then it'll have a red accent in the top and then some silver trim. So we're still using all of the same colors, but a little different. Not all of my Molly outfits have been exact representations of Molly's outfits. I want to have some creative liberty. Some of them are pretty close, if I do say so myself. This one's probably the most deviated from the actual one. I went to the store to get some blue satin, and that is what I am cutting out right here with some pinking shears, but you can see that the pattern was a little bit bigger than the fabric width, so I had to kind of cheat the pattern. I just kind of folded it right near the bottom, and it was still going to be really full, and I just kind of cheated the scoop to line up. That's what I did. It works. The skirt's still going to be super full, For the bodice, I used that red satin that came from my dearest dress. It is a leftover little piece that I thought, yes, I can use this, because I've been trying really hard to use all of my fabric, especially since Joann's closed, and even though they didn't have a lot of great historical fabrics, our choices are even less now. So I've been experimenting also with buying online, which is kind of something that I've had to do. But this bodice is 4 pieces. There was a dart for shaping in the back, and then you sew up the back center seam because this dress opens on the side. Now the front is very interesting. The 1940s, I don't quite understand it, but they love putting seams in the middle of things, but that is not where the openings go. The openings go in the side. So this one has a little bit of shape to accommodate the bust, and then it has this really fun kind of V shape right in the middle, and that made me think, yes, Miss Victory, it has a V already in it. The pattern called for me to gather up the sides of that V and then sew the not gathered V section, triangle section into it, and then the front was actually a little bit longer than the back, so it also had you gather on the sides. So it creates kind of that nice little hourglass shape, and then it has some ruching across the bodice. And then here I am pinning in the triangle V in the top, and then also pinning down the center of the front. It reminded me ever so slightly of putting in a medieval underarm gusset, and I have a whole video about doing that if you think that would help you in the making of this outfit. So here's what the front looks like. It's slightly bigger than the back so that the seams are not exactly on the side. They're more like center back side. Anyway, I like it because that way you don't have seams directly on the side. It kind of sways and makes the front look a little bit cleaner. So here I am pinning it all the way around, shoulders, and then just one side because I'm leaving one side open because that's where the opening is, and that opening is going to go into the skirt as well, but I will be finishing that off just with some ribbon on the side and then hand stitching it in and then putting in some closures for the side as well. I have been using my sewing machine to sew all of this. They would have had electric home sewing machines in the 1940s. That would have been extremely common. So this would be a historically accurate method.
So this dress is going together way faster than I thought it would. The bodice is already done. Just 5 pieces. I think it looks pretty good. The 40s have super weird fit, and they like putting seams up the middle of things and then having closings on the side. It's kind of weird, but it's the 40s, so here we are. But I kind of like the neckline. I'm going to have to finish off this, like a binding. They said to do it with bias binding. I'm just going to do it with this red ribbon because I think it matches pretty well. And then I'm also going to do some trim on the outside of this too. So I'll just hide all of that. And then we have our opening on the side here. And then I just need to add the blue skirt, the front and the back. This is the back. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I'm really excited about this dress. I think it's going to look really great.
This skirt is so big, even when I didn't do its fullness because the fabric just wasn't big enough no matter how I turned it, and I didn't really want to do a seam in it. So here we are. It's still insanely full, and it's just 2 pieces, front and back. I'm pinning the sides, leaving a little space on one side that's going to go and attach to the opening in the skirt. I thought it was interesting. The front was a little bit bigger than the back, again kind of doing that offset seam so it's not exactly on the side, which is nice. And then I'm going to sew those together and attach it to the bodice. Looking back at this, I think I might have done things differently. I think I might have added some silver to the skirt and then more of the stripe that Molly's outfit has. Just because when I was looking at it, it doesn't read super Molly Miss Victory costume. Like, it gets the idea across, but it doesn't look exactly like it. So I regret that slightly. I'm probably not going to go back and redo it, but just a thought if I do something like that again. Now, when I did put this on, I realized that I basically made an accidental Wonder Woman cosplay. I think that this outfit looks way more like Wonder Woman than Molly's Miss Victory costume, which is also very fun. And I think I could kind of do like a cosplay with this. Now, once I got the skirt together, I went around and then I am sewing on the binding that is just red grosgrain ribbon all around the neckline and the sleeves, and then I'm going to secure it with some hand sewing. But while doing that, I decided kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to attach the trim and secure the bottom of the ribbon. So I'm using this really nice silver trim that I got sent a while ago in a PR box. I'm actually using two of the different types of trim. There's a thicker one that I'm using on the neckline, and then a small sequin line that I'm using on the V to really outline that V section and really make it like a Miss Victory kind of feel. So, loving that for myself. Here I am pinning on the grosgrain ribbon for the sleeves. I am attaching it with a machine to the edge, right sides together. And then I'm just flipping it inside to hide that seam and attaching the ribbon to the fabric by hand and adding the trim at the same time. I'm just doing like a little running stitch or a hem stitch, kind of depending on how I feel with which different type of trim that I'm doing. For the tiny little trim here, that just sequin line, I'm doing a running stitch for that. For the thicker trim, I'm pretty sure I did a hem stitch on the top and bottom of it because it was so much thicker and I wanted to secure it to make sure it wasn't flopping. Now the fabric, it goes together pretty well. It was an angled skirt, but I still needed to gather the top of the skirt ever so slightly. It's not a very full gather, but it's a little gather. It doesn't fit together perfectly or smoothly. But it's just so full that it needs that. And then I'm just going to use my sewing machine to attach the bodice to the skirt. I stuck them right sides together, and then I'm just going to sew a seam all the way around, leaving that opening on the side. And then I'm just going to add some snaps to the side, and that's going to be how I close it. That's what the recipe, that's what the pattern called for. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, dancing, I realized the snaps didn't always stay together, especially when my husband tried to do some lifts. The snaps kind of came apart, so I'm like, ooh, might want to reinforce that with some hook and eyes. So I might do that in the future to avoid the side coming open too much. Thankfully, I'm wearing a bunch of underpinnings, so no one saw anything that they shouldn't. But we had so much fun at the dance. Highly recommend going to a swing dance for Valentine's. It was so much fun, and I'm going to have a whole vlog about our whole vintage Valentine's Day weekend coming up here soon. So please make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a nice comment about what you did for Valentine's Day or your favorite Valentine's Day memory, and I'll see you next time.